Hello, 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 and welcome to 52 Weeks of Flow, the podcast that delves into the depth of human potential and the transformative power of flow. My name is Bea-Marie, and today I have a very special guest for you. Carmen Benton is a professional speaker, published author, retired corporate executive, mom of three, and a transformational coach for driven women. Her mission is to help her clients get to the next level of business, career, and life by providing them with the tools, guidance, and support necessary to overcome obstacles and achieve their goals while dealing with the unresolved trauma that sabotages from within. Her transformational and unique coaching approach answers a call to freedom, allowing clients to live a purposeful and fulfilled life. Carmen is also the host of the Living Intentionally podcast that I have been on a couple of weeks ago, and it was so freaking amazing. That podcast is available on all popular podcast streaming platforms and on YouTube, just like 52 Weeks of Flow. And today she's here with us, and this is so exciting. Welcome, Carmen.
Oh my God, I am so excited to be here. Thank you for that kindly introduction. And I love the opportunity. Thank you so much, Bea-Marie.
Thank you. And I love the topic that you picked that we're going to talk about today, because this is success is not about mindset. It's about mind shift. And there you hit the nail on the head, because I love talking about success. So to start this off, could you share your take on the fundamental difference between mindset and mind shift?
Yes. We get bombarded in social media and everywhere about mindset, and it almost have taken a turn where I feel like people are not paying attention, and it's almost numbing because it works to a certain degree. When you're doing mindset, the way I see it is that you are taking and dealing with the superficial aspects of how we operate every day, habits, thoughts, beliefs, but it requires a mind shift to go really deep inside to the core of why you have those beliefs, why do you have those thoughts, and who you have become in this life, basically your identity. And in order to do that, in order to get to that shift, you have to use more than your mind. You have to use your energy, you have to use your body, and create that alignment between everything that you are and everything that you came here to be. So that's my take on that.
Yes. Okay, that's a pretty good take. So how does that relate to achieving success?
Well, so I've seen it in my own life that those painful emotions that we all had, and let's call it trauma. Let's normalize the word. People get freaked out about it, but it's something that we all have experienced to one degree or another. Those things, those emotions that in situations that we have overcome forge who you are, and they will hinder how much success you can achieve. And I used to think that success was how big my bank account was until I had a big enough bank account and I was still miserable. And then I realized that success is really the ultimate goal of human experience, which is to be happy, to be in fulfillment with your purpose. And don't take me wrong, you don't have to go into, life working to be, successful. You can still be in corporate, you can still be a business owner, you can do whatever you're doing today, but you need to honor that essence that your soul is calling you to accept, but we try to ignore it because of these traumas and these things that we have endured, and therefore have created this barrier around our hearts to protect ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I love that you said, let's normalize trauma, or the word trauma, because when we think about trauma, it's like this huge thing, this car accident, this terrible loss, this blah, 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 it just like it blew up so much, but everything is a trauma.
Mhm.
When you hit your knuckles on the wall, just like it's a physical trauma. You
Yes.
didn't break anything. It didn't, maybe not even bruise, but it is a, what is it called? A pressure trauma or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like every time you emotionally bump into something, that
Mhm.
is a trauma.
Yes. Any emotional charge event.
Yes.
So if you can remember as a sad, as a anxious, as a fearful moment, it created an imprint in your DNA that will protect you, right? Because we are here to survive. And so it's your brain's job to say, oh, that hurt. So let's not do that again. Right. So that's what trauma is, right? Like, is that okay? No, let's go the other way because that's dangerous. Yeah.
Let me jump in there real quick, because I'm interested on your take, because you're a mom of three. And I'm wondering when, that awareness of the brain sets in of, oh, that's a trauma, let's not do that again. Because kids, you say, oh, the stove is hot, don't touch it. They touch it, and then they're like, ow, and you're like, yes, I told you it's hot. And the next day you're like, the stove is hot, remember. Ow, and they do it again, and they do it
Yes.
again and again and again and again. So
Yeah. So with all my learning, I'm a very left brain, believe it or not. And so everything I talk about, energy included, I have researched and fact checked. So I would say that after the brain changes from theta to delta is when that like closes the window of, okay, we have all the information that we need, right? Like in that movie, Inside Out, was where all the brain
yeah.
personalities, right? After certain age, is like, okay, all the information is here. Let's close the window. This is what we have, and that's it. And that point forward, which is about 12, 13 years old, at that point forward, then you need to use real techniques, mindset, energy, somatic practices to remove those emotional charge events from your body.
That is so
But
interesting.
what do you think? You also have kids. You don't have to agree.
Yes. Yes, I do. And I'm really I'm I'm so impressed by their growth, and I'm also impressed by how much they forget. And I'm so impressed by the brain and by the brain's capacity, because when they come into this world, the brain is like a sponge, it just takes in everything. And then when they turn 2 or around 2, the brain selects and says like, okay, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. So for example, my kids are raised bilingual. So they're English, German. And we do that because I know about that at the age of 2, and then again at the age of 5, the brain just, removes the capacity to absorb language. And we're born with a capacity to learn any kind of language, any kind. Like the basic of every language is imprinted in our brain. But then when we don't use it, when we only use that one strength, like for example, only English, then the brain goes like, oh, okay, we don't need the Romanic languages, we don't need the Arabic language, we don't need the Asian language, we don't need all of this. And then when we're older, we're like, oh my God, I have to learn the vocabularies, and I need to learn this and grammar. And we're just in school, just working our butts off sometimes to just get that knowledge back that we could have had so easily. if we would have been exposed to that at a young age. So I love the brain, but the brain's really dumb. At this, it's so productive that it's dumbing itself down.
Yeah, it only, I mean, we only use less than 1% or 2% of its capacity, and then it has this beautiful filter that only lets in what it believes you need.
Yes.
Right. And so it's all, going back to the topic, it's all based on what it deems to be safe for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we go through life reacting to people's comments and behaviors because they trigger that fly or fight response that we have created so early in life. Yeah. And as I was saying, I've seen this thing in my own life. I was very successful, but I'm sure I could have been 10 times more successful if I would have started my healing journey earlier. Because, you only get to a certain point where it's like, okay, so now why am I stuck? Well, you're stuck because you are reliving, because there's comfort in chaos. If you grew up in a chaotic family situation or with certain time of parameters around you, maybe you didn't have enough money, right? Like, it's comfortable for you to be in that same energy. And it's until you make the clear decision to say, I am not going to live this way anymore. And I am going to, jump into this journey of healing and expansion, that you can set yourself free and really be successful.
Yes. Hallelujah to that. And especially the part, we get comfortable, or we are comfortable in environments that we know. Mm-hmm. So that's why lottery winners lose their money. That's why they lose all the money that they won, because they are not used to it. They're not used to the feeling of being successful. They don't feel successful, but they have all that money. But that's why it's going away. Like, almost every lottery winner who hasn't had some kind of success in their lives, who, from the inside out, they will lose their money.
Right. The imposter syndrome kicks
in.
in.
Yeah. And then, they just buy cars and cars and cars and houses and whatever. And then all of a sudden, all of this is gone because they don't know how to cope with success. Mm-hmm. And that's when energy comes in, when our brain cannot cope with all of this or doesn't understand, it just removes it, like I said, it's just dissecting everything and saying, oh, nope, we don't know that. We put that away. Like you said, it's our survival mechanism. Ooh, success. No, we don't know that. Oh, put it away. It's dangerous.
It's scary. Yes.
Yeah. So there comes the energy, when we work on ourselves, heal ourselves, and then get into that success energy when we feel successful. And I cannot stress this enough. Success is like a fingerprint. It is different for everybody. Like, yes, being happy, being fulfilled. But maybe for somebody, success really is the bank account. Mm-hmm. Then that is fine too.
But when you look at this, and it was Abraham Hicks who I picked this up from many, many years ago, and it really stuck with me. And I didn't necessarily understood what it meant until, a few years ago. But she would say that everything you want in life, you want it because you think that by having that, you'll be happy. And so, in a way around, what she was trying to say is that the ultimate goal in life is happiness. So you want the bank account, so you want the $10 million or the $1 million, or you want the Lamborghini, or you want the nice house, or you want the jet, or whatever you want to be married, you want a family, whatever it is that your heart desires, is because you think that by having that, you can be happy. Yeah. And when I started healing myself, I had this epiphany moment, which I said, what if I can be happy now? Then I don't need that. And then I don't need that. And then I don't need that. And okay, yes, in this 3 world 3D world, we need the money because we need to pay for food and all those amazing things that we all like. But then you can add the fulfillment and the happiness to it, right? And then the money has meaning. It's not just paper sitting in the bank. It's just not a transactional thing, because it brings you joy when you connect it all. At least that's what I think.
I think the same thing. So people, when you're not successful there, or when you are faced with challenges, success often has something to do with challenges, overcoming challenges. How can a mind shift help individuals like approach setbacks and challenges in a more resilient, like more empowered way?
Yes. So my personality was such that I thought that asking for help or having setbacks would make me weak. I think you will resonate with the term superwoman. And literally my favorite comics character was growing up was, Linda Carter and Wonder Woman. Like, I can do it all, right? I used to play. I would get like the bracelets and I would play with that. Yeah. And so literally, like, I would be struggling to get it all done. And for the life of me, I couldn't ask for help. It was a sign of weakness. And it was this mind shift when I started opening my heart and having self-compassion, right? Understanding that I don't need to be perfect. I am human. It's okay to make mistakes. Can I grow from here? Even if I screw up, can I learn the lesson and move forward and take something with it, right? So embracing self-compassion and then forgiving, which is not forgetting, it's just letting go of that anger, of that resentment, sometimes towards yourself, that allow me to grow in ways and heal relationships around me in ways that I couldn't have otherwise. But the only way I was able to do that is by shifting who I was. It wasn't getting a new habit. It wasn't saying affirmations. It wasn't like controlling my thoughts. It was really becoming a different person. And that's where the shift comes.
All right. Yeah. I completely understand that. And here comes the next question, because with a shift comes change. Mm-hmm. And people often resist change, even when it might lead them to something better, or greater success. So how you as a coach, you as a mentor, how can someone overcome this resistance and embrace the shift?
Yes. Oh my God. So this is such a good topic because it is hard, even for us coaches, right? Change is something that challenges the status quo, and therefore it invites you to step outside of your comfort zone.
Ooh.
Right?
Let's not do that.
Well, yeah. And so one of the things that I learned is that excitement and fear feel exactly the same in your body. Mm-hmm. The meaning that you give to the feeling is what determines how you react to it. So when you are in the process of changing, most people think, oh, this is fearful. I'm afraid of it. Because you get, palpitations and your adrenaline start moving and, the firefly kicks in. But if you have that little piece of information that is like, okay, wait a second, excitement, which is a very high vibration, makes your body react the same way. But now I'm going to start associating positive thoughts to it, right? And so that's one thing I did. The other thing I did is energy can fix everything, right? You and I know that. And so one of the things I did is to expand my energetic container always, right? So the limits of what I can hold, of what I can tolerate without self-sabotaging myself are far away from where I am. And so that's one of the things I do with my clients. So I do a holistic practice. We talk all day long about thoughts and beliefs and traumas and identities while I'm doing energy at the same time. And we do somatic practices too, because the trauma lives in the body. The fight or flight lives in the body, like in your muscles, in your organs, right? And to release it, you need to use all the little tricks you have. Sometimes some people react very quickly to one modality, but I find I do the same for myself. I don't preach anything that I don't use. And it's the combination of everything that just amplifies the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you're talking about holistic approach, I'm all there. I'm all there. Yes. Thank you. So this is a tricky one because I know a lot of people, who have this fear of, speaking in public or going on stage, or, where you say it's stage fright, that's normal. Like people who actually, they freeze before they go on stage. So when that fear is so big, how do you transform that into excitement? Like, how do you shift the brain into, believing that it is excitement?
Mm-hmm. So this is really funny because we were talking earlier that I'm preparing to apply for TEDx talks, and I'm in the process of doing that. And it's been a long time dream of mine. I was a little girl, and I can imagine myself in this red dot even before the red dot existed. And this is a big deal. And when I applied for it, I told someone, I am going to stand in that stage, even if I have to wear diapers, because I might pee myself, right? Of the nervousness. And so here comes the answer. People confuse confidence with courage, right? A lot of people have the confidence to do what they are used of doing. I've done a lot of things in my life that people deem as confidence. Like I moved to a different country by myself, like in my 20s. I got a job in a country where I didn't know anybody. Those things weren't scary to me. For some reason, my soul just wanted to, have excitement, right?
Yeah.
But there's been many other things I've done where I require courage. And this is what that transition to excitement needs, right? And so I always tell my clients, how bad do you want it? When you want something bad enough, right? Like when you have hit that place in your life where that's what you need to go for, that is a force not to be reckoned with. And you can canalize it, you can use it to fuel yourself and make that shift. Now, can you do it in 30 seconds? Probably not, right? Like it requires, this is where affirmations are, mindfulness, being able to connect with your body, anchor a feeling of excitement that you can recall when you need it, right? So there's practices that you can do. And I work with my clients on that. For other things, like I don't necessarily prepare speakers, but you need courage in many areas of your life. Sometimes it's just to even like ask someone out and date,
Yeah.
or like
As simple as that.
Or be able to leave a narcissistic relationship. There's so many things in your life that you paralyze, you freeze, right? And so it's really understanding that the only message that your brain is giving you with freezing, which is one of the defense mechanisms, right? Flight, fight, freeze, fawn. Missing one, but there's 5, like the 5F. That's just a defense mechanism. So when you can rationalize that, so the logical brain is very helpful in this case. It's like, okay, my brain just trying to protect me, right? Now let me find ways to feel safe, right? And so you start with little steps. you're not going to go, and the first speaking engagement that you're going to do is going to be a big stage. I mean, that's like a recipe for heart attack, right? But you start slow. You start, TikTok, podcasts, small stages, hold the microphone, right? There's so many things, like even, right? With the TED Talks, like they tell you, buy the red dot, practice in the red dot, buy the microphone, wear what you're going to wear, practice in front of strangers, in the airport, in the grocery store, in a park. Remove out of your, your thought, anything that might trigger you as much as you can, right? And so it's basically what I was saying earlier of expanding your container until it becomes normal, because your brain is just saying, oh my God, you do that, you're going to die. Maybe because you were in school, in third grade, and you raised your hand and you said something that nobody understood and they make fun of you. And that's the trauma that you need to heal. Because now you need to tell your brain, I will be okay. It is safe for me to speak, right? Maybe work on your throat chakra. Maybe work on your solar plexus, right? So I know I went long-winded, but hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, no, of course it makes sense. Of course it makes sense. And it was a great answer. Thank you for that. So as a mentor, you already touched on some points, like how you work with your clients, but what are some common stumbling blocks that your clients encounter along the way?
So I find that when I first get my clients in the cradle of love that I set for them, there's a lot of self-worth issues. Self-worth, there's a lot of heart being closed because of relationship traumas that usually are parent related or caregiver related. And you might be surprised how that affects every area of your life, right? When you close your heart, you and I know both that that's how you manifest everything you want into existence, is with the heart. It's that magnetic part of the body that brings in the things that you're putting out in the world with affirmations through your mind, right? So electromagnetic. And so when you close your heart, then you wonder, oh, why I cannot get the relationship, why I cannot get the job, why I cannot get the clients. And so that, I would say, it's the most predominant, that and self-worth. Like, I'm not good enough, or who am I to pursue my dreams? So those are kind of like the main stumbling blocks I see my clients come with when they approach me.
Yeah, and I think everybody who listens can relate to that in some way or another, because I think 99.9% of the world's population has been there, thinking I'm not enough, or this is not enough what I'm doing, or this is not enough what I'm giving. I know there's not a one size fits all answer, but if you could condense it in some way, what do you tell your clients when they come with the I'm not enough?
Let me drop into my heart space to make sure this is what everyone needs to hear. But it really comes to, you and everybody else. And here's where my logical mind is going to go, because I love facts. You are 1 in a 400 million probability. The combination of cells and DNAs that made you, it's so rare that the very fact that you are here in this planet in this moment makes you worthy of everything you want. And that is a message that I heard a long time ago, and it really struck with me, because it is true. Like, we all have here a particular mission, a particular path, and souls that we have touched along the way to be able to, impact humanity in some way. And that makes you good enough. That makes you more than good enough. That makes you amazing. And so I work with my clients to make sure they understand that. And just yesterday, it's funny because I moved one of my clients to what I call maintenance modality, right? When we, instead of meeting every week, we just meet like once a month. And I was so happy because this person, at the beginning of our coaching together, used to text me, and my one-on-one includes unlimited texting and Boxer and whatnot, every day with some sort of 3D problem and why everything is so bad. And it was very depressed and anxious. And for the last 6 weeks, we've been meeting, and I'm like, so how's your week? And like the first week that it shifted it was pretty good. I didn't have any reason to be sad. And I'm like, oh, darn it. And he's been in this role of just amazing excitement and growing up. And it's like when it gets good, it gets better, right? And it's just the same. When you start feeling the bad emotions, you get bad. But when you start feeling the good emotions, you get better. And so I know transformation is possible because I've seen it with everybody. And maybe the first time you hear what I just said about, you are more than enough, you are amazing, doesn't resonate based on the circumstances you are today. But I promise you, you are. You are.
So thank you for that message, because like that resonated with me, definitely. And I didn't know about the 4 million possibilities, but I knew there were a lot. And Einstein once said, there are 2 types of people: the ones that see everything as a miracle, or the ones that see nothing as a miracle. So which one do you want to be? And so I decided, hey, I want to be the one seeing miracles. I love miracles. I think this is amazing. And then I was like, okay, if I see everything as a miracle, then I have to see myself as a miracle as well. Oh my God, how arrogant is that to see myself as a miracle? Right. And I was like, yeah, but well, if everything is a miracle, everybody, every person that I meet, every situation, every little tiny insect, every animal, every tree, everything, not just certain people, are miracles. No. And so that's what I love about being a human being on this planet. Because a lot of times, in school, especially in school, yeah, that kid is special, or this kid is special. Kids get ostracized by, oh, this is the troubled kid. This is this kid. This is this kid. And we start believing that. But actually, everyone is special, not because one is better than the other, but because we're all unique. And you just explained that so perfectly with there's a chance of 4 million possibilities but you are here. This version of you is here. So I heard a great speaker, I forgot her name, say the other day, she said, because you're special, everything that you can think of is for you. Everything that you can think of is meant for you. Yes, I've heard that. And another way to say that is, if your heart desires something, it's already yours. It's already yours. Yeah. Yes. So a lot of people say, I want to be successful. Coming back to the topic, you want to be successful. If I can think it, then it's mine already. But how do I bridge the gap, from where I am, unsuccessful, maybe in the dumpster sitting, and I'm like, I want to be successful. Hello. How do I how do I make my brain, because we can feel, or we can pretend to be successful, but how can I, make my brain believe that I'm successful, to bridge that gap?
This is where the mind shift comes to place, right? You
Yes.
have to change who you are. So one exercise I actually do every day, and I still do it because you're always evolving. The fact that I'm successful now doesn't mean that I don't have other aspirations of greater success, right? And so I review these like every 90 days, and it's, who is that person that I want to be? How does she dress? What does she eat? What does she think? What is her daily day routine? What are the things that she finds delicious and exciting and, makes her wake up in the morning? And so you become that version. And it requires discipline and it requires patience. Unfortunately, in 2023, everyone wants instant gratification. That's what we get in social media, the dopamine rush, right? But the reality of the matter is that it doesn't take that long. And when you embark in the process and you see, what you were saying, everyone is a miracle. Everything is happening for me. You wake up and you start embracing that mentality, and you don't really need to get to point B of your destination to feel the success, because you are already embodying the success, right? And so it becomes inevitable. Law of attraction. What you put out comes back to you. So if you're already that person who feels like $1 million, the $1 million have to come. There's no other way around. Otherwise, we'll be breaking the physics of the universe. And so it's really, it's not a quick fix, right? One of the reasons that I don't offer one session. You cannot get a transformation in one session, right? It takes a little bit, let's be honest, right? It takes creating the habit. It takes embracing the practice. It takes breaking down so you can break through. But knowing, having the patience, right? Having the courage, having the love, and the vision. Those will be the 4 things I said you need to get there. And it requires a shift. That's what I call it, the mind shift, right? It requires a shift on who you have been till now, because that's not how we are programmed to behave. We're programmed to wake up in the morning and remember all the crappy things that happened yesterday, instead of daydreaming about the deliciousness of life.
Yes, I love that. And for all of you who are just listening to this, while Carmen was talking, she was just moving her body, and she was like really getting into this groove of, okay, who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? Like really sensually feel it in your body, who you want to become. Who is that woman? Who is that person? What does her body feel like? Because let's be honest, a lot of us, we have a certain phase in our lives where we don't like our bodies, where we don't like to be in our bodies. So if you want to change your body, if you want to change how you feel in your body as well, then move your body and get that feeling of, ooh, how do I want to feel? Like that was just a side note because you inspired me to say that. That was just when you were talking, I was like, oh yes, this groove.
Doesn't it feel good to feel that je ne sais quoi?
Yes.
Right? It's something like else, right? And it just spiraled from there in a good way, right? Like you start doing it, and at first it might feel kind of weird, right? But then, it's like, who cares? Like, who cares what other people say, right? I taught my daughter my affirmations because she started high school this year. And I want to make sure that she, had the courage, the confidence, and not really be constrained by what other people say, right? And I said, when I was 15 years old, and this is a true story, I don't know where this came to me, channel probably, but I was 15 years old in Panama, and I used to tell myself, to the mirror, right? You are freaking amazing. And everyone who disagrees with that is a loser. You know what? I believe that. I really, not so much the loser part, but I believe that I am amazing. And that's what I want everyone else to believe. But it took years of like self-conditioning myself. And the reason I had to say that to myself is because I was in a private school where everyone else had money and I didn't. I was very poor. I was there because I had scholarships. Thanks to my brain, I was smart, so I had scholarships. But I didn't have the cars, I didn't have the clothes, I didn't even, live in a safe place. And my hair, hormones, all these things, right? And I had to find a way to not feel less than. And somehow, divinely guided, I'm telling you, I don't know how this came to me, but at 15 years old, I was looking at the mirror, doing mirror work and telling myself those type of affirmations, and they worked.
That is amazing. Oh my God. I wish every teen, every kid getting into puberty gets a handbook with how to work with affirmations, how to love their body, how to, because when I was 15, I was doing the exact opposite. When I was 15, I was finding excuses why things don't happen the way I want it. All of my friends, they all had boyfriends, and I didn't. And it was like, okay, why don't I have a boyfriend? Oh, because I'm more the tomboy girl, which I wasn't. I'm more of this blah, blah, blah. That's why, blah, blah, blah. You find excuses. And so I love it that came to you at such a young age, and especially during puberty where everything is already all messed up. Yeah. And yeah, so let's come back real quick to, because of time, you said for a mind shift, you need to change who you are. And that takes one, courage. Second, what was the second one?
So it takes patience, courage, commitment, and love. And I don't know if there's an order, right? But it's kind of like,
patience, courage, commitment, and yes, love. Love is the most massive thing that you need when you are changing, because it is self-love. Give yourself love, give yourself grace, especially when it doesn't happen in an instant.
And I want to say something, because I was the person, not even that long ago, I'm going to say 5-6 years ago, I was the person that would hear people talk about self-love, and I'll be like,
you can make the sound,
like, let me vomit here. Because I was so frozen. My heart was so shielded that the sole thought of that, it was repulsive. Actually, I will repulsive energetically. I remember I knew this girl when I was in my 20s, and she was so happy all the time, and it would trigger me every time. I'm like, how can she be so happy? Her car she has an old car, she has a job that has dead end, and why she can be happy? Her boyfriend cheating on her, like all these things, and she was so happy all the time. And I had all the opposite. I had the nice car, I had the nice career, I had the steady boyfriend, and I was miserable. So, right? But she loved herself, and I didn't. And it took me a long time. It really took me a long time to get there. And so if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, love, you had to ruin it for me, I'm telling you, that's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you need.
And if you have come this far in the podcast, this message is especially for you. That's why we have it at the end.
It's divinely guided. Come on.
It's divinely guided. Yes. Oh, Carmen, thank you so much for coming on. I could talk to you forever, but for, time sensitive people, or time being, Yes, we're going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to be here. I am so glad we got connected. We have so many things in common, so many roads we're leading to this. So thank you so much for having me. It's been delightful.
Yes, because Carmen and I will be speaking at the Women Thrive Summit in March 2024 together. So if you have not yet, I think you can already order your ticket. They're on pre-order or pre-sale, something.
Yeah.
They are right now. So Women Thrive Summit. And there are some amazing other ladies that you also might have heard already on this podcast or will hear in the future. So that's it. That's it for today. That's our show. Thank you for tuning in and staying with us until the end. If you have not yet, then please subscribe to this channel, rate us with 5 stars. And if you want to learn more, then subscribe to the newsletter on www.superwoman.coach and follow us on Instagram at moving_river. Carmen, can you say your social media handle and your website real quick?
Yes. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the Carmen Benton, THE Carmen Benton. So pretty easy. And my website is carmenbenton.com.
Awesome. And for all of you, if you like what you heard, then please come back next week where we dive into more fascinating and life-changing topics. And until then, keep shining, keep growing, keep learning, and keep flowing.